Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Cumming, Georgia, it's time for Forsyth Business Radio.
And welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Forsyth Business Radio. I am your host, Amanda Pierce Marmolejo, and as you know, this is the series that spotlights community movers and shakers. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest, Sarah Adams. She is the owner of Blue Chip Headshots. You can learn more about Blue Chip Headshots by visiting www.bluechipheadshots.com. Welcome to the show, Sarah Adams.
Thanks, Amanda. I'm happy to be here.
I am excited for you to share your knowledge and your expertise with our listeners. I've been seeing you do a lot of great work on LinkedIn here recently, and I know that you had kind of a hallmark event. Why don't you share with us a little bit about what you did for our community?
Sure. So I joined Greg Burkhalter, the LinkedIn guy, at the Gwinnett Entrepreneur Center to help job seekers, about 20 job seekers, who are in the market for their next opportunity. They got great LinkedIn profile advice and job search advice from Greg. And then also, just to kind of put the cherry on top of their new LinkedIn profile, they got professional headshots from me. So I'll be excited to share those in about a week.
I can only imagine the value that each individual in attendance placed on that experience, because headshots are not something that I was familiar with until my early 20s. So
Right.
The fact that they can couple their resume with a professional headshot is definitely setting them up for success.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for, just taking a step back from a job search. I know one of the reasons I prefer owning my own business is because job searching is brutal, interviewing again and again, and just kind of, it seems like you have to submit hundreds of applications these days to really land a good job. So I was happy to help all these people take a step back and just kind of reset and get a good headshot that I hope would make them feel confident in themselves and just renew their confidence for that continued job search that they're on.
Well, I know that's one thing that you do very well, is making your clients feel comfortable and kind of getting to know them and peeling back the layers so that their true personality shines through in the professional photograph that you're going to take. But let's rewind for our listeners that are unfamiliar with how you started the concept of this brand, because enhancing brands is something that you do for your clients, but you yourself have a very strong brand here within the headshot community. Let's start with the name Blue Chip Headshots.
Blue Chip Headshots did come to me somewhat randomly, like just one afternoon. And I used to be Shearer Headshots. That was my maiden name. And so, and it was honestly, now I'm Sarah Adams. So I have somewhat thankfully moved to a last name that's easier for people to spell. But then Shearer Headshots, I thought, well, I can't really have my business name be this, name that's difficult for people to spell. That's a bit of a problem when it comes to, Googling me and finding me. So I wanted something simple, and I wanted something that also expressed what I'm doing for people. So Blue Chip Headshots, I get it from, if anyone's an investor or interested in the stock market, a blue chip stock is one that is, known for quality and consistent returns over time. And so I thought, okay, that's what I'm doing with headshots. I'm giving someone really like a branding asset that I'm hoping, and I'm intentional about it in the session. I'm hoping that this will, help them get a solid personal brand and something that will really truly connect with other people who see it. I want people's headshots, when there's someone in their network comes across it, I want it to stop them in their tracks. I want them to be noticed. I want the segue into my slogan. What I put with Blue Chip Headshots is personal brands that pay dividends. I want it to not only attract attention from, clients and colleagues, make someone look confident and approachable and like someone that people should know. But I also want the client, my client, to feel, confident in themselves because of their headshot. So that's the other way it's paying off, is it's in your own personal confidence, but also the confidence that other people have in you.
That definitely shines through in all of the photography that I have seen you produce. How do you help people kind of get over that fear of not being photogenic and fall in love with their picture?
Right. So many people, have this sense that they're not photogenic, and I think that's because we live in a very photo centric. I don't know what that's
We
kind of
live
a
in
made
a
up
filtered
word.
world.
Right. There's phones and cameras, thanks to phones being everywhere, right? And everywhere you go, a lot of times someone wants to snap a picture of you, and so this leads people, I think, to have this sense that wow, I'm not photogenic, right? I looked better in the mirror this morning than I do in this phone picture. But like I've explained before, post on LinkedIn, I wrote about this exact issue. Like a phone picture, it's really a candid thing. Okay, the lighting's not always right. It's very flat. You're not having the shadow and light interplay the way you do with a professional portrait, right? And so people see these phone photos of themselves and think, well, I'm scared to get a photo taken of myself, a professional photo. A lot of times, I always speak to my clients on the phone before they come in, and I'll have people say, oh, you're going to have your work cut out for you with me. And I kind of laugh and try to reassure them, but really it's one of my major goals when people come in to make them feel like, wait, I am photogenic. I want them to, when they step behind my computer monitor and look at their photos for the first time, I want them to, see themselves differently and really believe like, wow, I actually do look great in photos. Because I think that's a huge confidence boost for anyone. So back to what you asked me, I want to make sure I'm hitting on the answer to your question, but
Confidence. So how do you help people get over the fear of not being photogenic? But I'm also curious how you yourself established your own confidence in knowing that you can make anyone photogenic.
Right. Helping people get over the fear of it. It really is what I touched on already. It's when they see the photos revealed, and that is really the moment where they start believing it. Before that, I'm giving them cues. I'm giving them positive feedback. If I, through my camera viewfinder, see, their face looking perfect, like I like it, with my cues, I'll give them that verbal feedback. I'll say, okay, that's awesome. We got it. And they'll kind of perk up and think, oh, really? And then I show them the picture, and sure enough, I love their reaction because a lot of times people are blown out of the water. So then from that point on, the nerves really come down for the rest of the session because it's like, okay, I can do this, and then we have more fun. We have more of a collaborative kind of back and forth at that point where we can talk about like, what angles they like better, or maybe even trying new creative things like bringing in different background colors, trying something different with their outfit than they thought. And it becomes a really fun back and forth once those initial nerves of just being in front of the camera come down. And then on my end, you asked like, how did I become confident that I can do this for anyone, right? Even if someone calls me and they tell me I'm going to have a hard time, don't worry, I got this. I established that really thanks to just a few my cues that I give people. I know what makes a good headshot, and I know that anyone can follow these couple cues that I give them. And they really come in to play with people's eyes, their expression, so their natural expression, whether it's a smile or just like a subtle little smile. But the important thing is that they look confident, and so that's through the eyes. And I give them a cue for that, which is just to squinch their eyes a little bit and give me like a little bit of a squinch, and that makes people laugh a lot, which plays into the other thing, which is the natural expression, the genuine smile. So sometimes they'll laugh if I say, hey, give me a little bit of a squinch, because that's just okay.
Funny to hear, yeah.
But I also, part of my job, I guess, is trying to hone in on some stand-up comedy, I guess, and learn just, I try to have a little one-liners in my back pocket to use if I just draw a blank, but I also try to just talk to people, get to know them, and then make some funny comment related to something I know about them or learned about them. Get them to get a genuine expression out of them. Because that combination of that genuine, comfortable expression and the confidence, that's really creates a powerful headshot.
It sounds like you develop a relationship with your clients, and it's a wonderful experience that they have when they come to your studio. Why is the client experience especially so important in your industry, Sarah?
Right. So the client experience, for any good business, it's everything, right? It's just how you create a reputation. And so I take that very seriously. But for me, it's really essential to what I'm doing. If people have a good time, they're going to have a much better headshot, right? If they feel comfortable, if they feel like they're being treated to a great experience. And, I'll reveal, I guess, some of the things I do. They come in, I ask them to bring multiple wardrobe options. So we put those out on my clothing rack, and we have a little bit of a wardrobe consult right there. And I ask them, hey, what's your favorite outfit? I want to make sure we get a lot of shots in that. And then we go through and we kind of make a plan for the session and, move through what we're shooting in what order. And it's just starting out this experience, right? I offer them, something to drink, sparkling water, something nice. And if they're getting makeup done, especially, we sit there and chat and just kind of get to know each other before we start shooting. Afterward, and this is, I think, sets me apart a bit, it's the way we review images, because I consider myself, not just their photographer. I'm also really, in a lot of ways, a branding consultant to them in the image review process, because I'm giving them my professional input on the pictures we took. I'm pointing out little things, like little subtleties, like, look at how you look here. This is kind of the mood I'm getting from this photo. You look bolder here. Still friendly, but like, this is a little bit, more serious. And I give my feedback. I point out things. And so we have this, opportunity to do that together, as opposed to me just sending them the photos after the fact and saying, here you go, pick your favorites. 'Cause then, a lot of times that's overwhelming, right? And so we do that narrowing down process together. And I think it results in just a much better overall experience for the client.
So what you provide is all inclusive. Someone comes to your studio, they bring their wardrobe options, they have the option for makeup, you have a little bit of a consultation, you go through the photography process where lots of laughs are shared, and then thereafter you kind of review the images together. I'd like to kind of flip the script, if I may, and let's go behind the lens where you are, Sarah.
Right.
Now, as an editor myself, I know a lot goes into making those portraits the perfect one. Talk a little bit about behind the scenes, what you do after the client leaves and how you make those stellar portraits.
Sure. So the retouching process, I'm big about it being natural, but I like to, I guess, joke. It's like, it's going to look like you, but just a little bit better. Your very best. I want to even out the redness and the skin tones, just kind of make the lines and wrinkles just a little bit less. They're not totally gone, but it's just softening the skin a little bit in a very natural way. I like to draw attention to people's eyes, so I'll often try to accentuate people's eye color, and that really is in the session too, with wardrobe and stuff and background choice to bring out the eye color. But in retouching too, there's ways to brighten up people's eyes. And so I make sure all of that happens, as well as, the crops. I think that's really important. I want to talk about that. I do a very modern, kind of different crop to the photo, and I provide a few for people's different applications. So like a square crop for social media, a vertical crop if you want like a more traditional kind of headshot where it's a portrait. But my personal favorite is what I call the cropped crop. And it's just it's horizontal. So it's landscape, and it's very tight. So it even chops people's heads a lot of times. And I make sure it basically just makes the photo focused on the person's eyes and their face expression. And it really draws you in. And so I'm always hoping that that's the one that people share on LinkedIn and use, and even just use on their website and stuff, because it's the best one. I'll just say that.
Don't you love seeing a headshot that you've taken for a client as their profile picture on LinkedIn or any other site?
Oh yeah. I laugh kind of, because if people have a premium LinkedIn, they might see me viewing their profile like
so many times.
4 or 5 times. Why is this girl looking at my profile?
Sharp photo right there.
Over and over. Yeah. I just like looking at it and think, wow, that looks so much better than their old one. So I am proud of seeing that when it's up on their LinkedIn. Yeah.
Let's talk about do's and don'ts for those who might not be able to do business with you quite yet. We were talking about young professionals here just a moment ago. What are some, kind of tips and tricks that you can share without giving away the craft of your trade for the beginner who's looking to just maybe start their first LinkedIn page or a company profile?
Right. No, I'm happy to share that. I think there, we walk around with these really actually pretty high quality cameras on our phones, and you might not have all the lighting equipment, but before I had my fancy headshot studio equipment and lights, you can do a lot with natural light. So what I would recommend if you want to just have a good LinkedIn or a good headshot from your phone is you want to stand facing a window, and it's not direct sun. So you want a window that's not causing light and shadows to come in the room, but just a window that has that indirect sunlight coming through. And you'd want to set up your phone to be eye level, not high. You're not doing like a selfie angle down. You don't want to angle up because that's unflattering, but just like eye level. Maybe prop it on some books or something or on a desk. And you could try out portrait mode or not, but the lighting is going to be really important. And so that soft lighting through the window is going to be super flattering. Stand, I'd say pretty close to the window to get that lighting. You'll notice when you come in my studio, the lights are right next to your face. And people comment, wow, I'm surprised you can get a photo through here because they're right next to their face. But that's one of the principles of lighting that's kind of interesting to me. But it's the closer you are, with the lights, the softer the light becomes, the more flattering it becomes. So if you can imagine the sun in the sky and taking a photo at noon, that's gonna be super unflattering. The sun's way up in the sky at its highest, so it's far away. It's creating these harsh shadows. That's why if you ever, have say a family photo session outdoors, the photographer is going to want to go in the morning or the evening. That's when the sun is lower and it's creating this beautiful soft light. So stand close to the window, get that soft light on your face, indirect sunlight. And then I'd add, once the lighting's done, that's checkbox number 1. The second thing to focus on is your face expression. And so I would just reiterate what I said earlier. Give a little bit of a squinch. And think of something funny, try to get yourself into a place where you have a genuine smile, even have a friend take it of you and be teasing you a little bit and get a genuine smile there. And you might laugh, and then your friend should snap the photo as you kind of come down from that laugh. And you're not in the middle of a huge grin, but you have still this natural look on your face. And that would be a good start to your headshot.
I can say I, as a rookie photographer, take probably 20 photographs, and then within that cascade of 20, there will be one that we can use. So for those of you just joining us, our guest today is Sarah Adams, the owner of Blue Chips Headshots. And if you'd like to learn more about her array of services, please visit bluechipheadshots.com. Now, Sarah, I understand that there's room for a lot of creativity in the process of photography. So when you're in your headshot sessions, talk about some ways that you get creative with your clients and some of the things that you do that set you apart from other photographers.
Sure. So I'd like people to view their headshot session like it's their own, block of time where we can tackle really all the photos they need for their business. It's almost like a branding session, or it really can be if people want it to be. And so the way I structure even my pricing and the sessions themselves, I'll talk a little bit about how that sets us up for this, but I have a flat rate for a session and really, unlimited time. And so that means, if someone's coming in just for one great shot, they come in, it's 20 minutes, they leave, they're go about their busy day, and we have a great shot. Otherwise, people can come in, they can bring, 5 outfits. We can spend an hour and a half and really just have fun and try on each of those outfits, not only to see what looks best, but just to give that variety that I think is really important, especially for people at a higher level in their career, or people who are really looking to build a personal brand, and they might appear as a keynote speaker. They might have a personal website or a business website where they have their, their about page, business card, LinkedIn, and you might want a little bit of a different look for each of those. You might want a casual look, you might even, want to take advantage of the fact that you're behind this beautiful lighting. You get these really awesome photos, and you might want a Facebook or a more casual like image to use just in your, non-professional life as well. So I want people to approach it like that, where we can tackle really whatever you're looking for in your headshot session. I'm thinking, lately I'm seeing on LinkedIn, these posts where carousels are really popular. The swipe through all this information, right? And a lot of times I see, I kind of cringe at some, not anyone I know personally, but people who are doing really well, like, with sharing these posts, they get tons of traction, but they have this like selfie where they're like pointing at the text and it looks it's kind of blurry and it doesn't look very great. Even that kind of thing, if you're kind of if that's your personality, if you want photos that you want to cut and paste and like cut out and paste into a graphic like that to really add yourself into stuff you share on social media, that is also something we can do and try out. So I'm open to anything, and I want people to understand that like it's more than just a headshot session. It's a custom branding session, every single one, if you want it to be. So
I love that. And your personal brand is definitely something that is important. It makes you stand out above all others. Out of curiosity, how often would you recommend that a professional refresh their headshots?
Right. Good question. So the first rule of thumb is like if you have a major kind of change in appearance, like if you change your hair color, if you cut your hair, if you do something that changes your appearance, you want people to recognize you from your headshot. Like they see you on LinkedIn, they see you in person, say, oh, hey, hey, Amanda, I recognize you. So that's very important. So that's the first rule of thumb. If you have a huge, if you change your look, even if you start wearing you updated your style, you want your headshot to reflect who you are in the moment. So that's one thing. But then as far as time goes, I would say, every 2 years or so. Usually we change enough in one way or another, like we age. I know people think, oh no, but I want my younger my younger self. Well, I understand that totally. But it's one of those things. You want to look like yourself, and I want people to, understand just because you age a little bit doesn't mean you can't get a beautiful shot and still look great. Still look like yourself, but look great.
Yeah. We've all received that business card and had to take a double look at the person that handed it to you because the photograph is so outdated.
Right.
Who are you looking to connect with out there, Sarah? Who can you help and who can help you grow?
Sure. I'm really, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn these days, and I'm really looking to connect with a couple of people. So first of all, of course, anyone who is interested in getting their headshot updated in the near future, I'd love to just have you in my network and get to know you. But also, I tend to look for people who are also in adjacent kind of branding areas. So a lot of marketers, a lot of people who consult people or business professionals when it comes to say business coaching or maybe consulting. We're all a part of developing professionals, to be the best they can be. And so it makes a lot of sense for me to partner with people like that or just get to know them and have them as friends.
And your LinkedIn is very sharp. I enjoy seeing you on my feed. You provide a lot of content that's worth taking the time to read, So if those of you who are out there are listening who would like to connect with Sarah on LinkedIn, definitely look up Sarah Adams, and that's Sarah Sarah, and then Adams as it sounds. Sarah, how can people get in touch with you directly if they'd like to take advantage of your services?
Sure. The best way to reach me is to send me an email at Sarah, that's with an H, at bluechipheadshots.com, or send me a text at 470-799-9619, and I'd love to get you set up with a session.
Where's your studio located, Sarah?
Right now in Cumming,
Georgia.
So
Perfect.
Just off Bethelview.
Not too far, and we are actually broadcasting live from the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce, so we're right here in your backyard. So Sarah, I see you thriving and you're very successful right now. I'm very curious to know what the next steps for you in Blue Chip Headshots are.
Thanks. So I'm really at a point where I'm building my reputation here in Greater Atlanta. I love welcoming, individuals into my studio to get their headshots done. But I'd love to really work, in the coming years with more companies. I'm able to actually, just like I did for the LinkedIn After Hours event with Greg Burkhalter, I actually brought my entire studio to Gwinnett Entrepreneur Center, and believe it or not, it fits in like one suitcase. So I'd love to pack up my things and come to people's offices and just get, entire staff's headshots updated, because I think that is so important. I really see this shift, and, having been actually prior to being a headshot photographer, I was a digital marketer. And so I worked on promoting small businesses and larger businesses alike. But the thing I noticed really is that people are so much more engaged with those individuals in the company. So like the company owner's LinkedIn is so much more important than the company page. And so having these, having your employees and yourself as a business owner have a strong brand and a strong headshot, I think that's really important. So I'd love to help entire companies update their shots and be their headshot photographer for any new staff members who join.
That's really exciting. So if you are a corporation out there listening, and I know of a few that utilize headshot services, and they do that for uniformity on their site. And as you mentioned, driving attention not only to the organization, but to the individuals that represent the organization is paramount.
Right.
Sarah, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners? Any tips and tricks? I'm just so excited to have a professional like yourself here in studio, so I want to take full advantage of your time. For those of you listening out there that have found value in this segment, again, Sarah would love to connect with you on LinkedIn or simply visit her website at bluechipheadshots.com. And Sarah, I'm going to leave you with the final thought.
Okay, you asked for other tips. I do have a couple that I'll share. So I'm thinking for ladies out there, hair and makeup and wardrobe tips. I'll give my best few. So for makeup, if you don't opt for professional makeup services, I have a wonderful makeup artist. But if you want to do your own makeup, make sure you keep it matte. So these days, a lot of highlighters and style, and I personally love that, but I would not wear that for a headshot. You have these lights flashing in your face. It's just going to pick up that highlight and you're going to be glowing all over your face. And I actually have in my studio these blotch papers to clean up kind of the shine, right? Because we don't want it to look shiny. So with makeup, think matte. That's my best tip for makeup. And then for hair, style it as you normally do. What makes you comfortable. Wardrobe, I would say my best tips are keep it simple, keep it solid. I think solid colors, are great because they're not distracting, and we want people to focus on your face, your eyes, and really connect to you through your expression. So those are probably my best wardrobe tips, just quickly. I'll be posting more about those on my blog, though, so I'll mention my blog on bluechipheadshots.com. I'm going to focus on posting some more tips.
What about for the men? We live in the era of like the crazy gnarly facial hair and they rock it, and some companies are okay with it. Mm-hmm. So what would you recommend for the Duck Dynasty fellows out there?
Honestly, I would say facial hair, it doesn't bother me as long as you're well groomed, right? Okay, facial hair, I'll pick on, some my husband has some facial hair, my brother does, and it's like, as long as you are clean shaven, as in you don't have scraggly hairs on your neck and around your beard. So groom your beard, right? If you have a big beard, make sure you groom it and the night before or the morning of, all that, and to make sure it looks neat and its best. But I'd say rock it, if that's your look. If that's your look, don't shave it off for the headshot session.
Be authentically you. I love it. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. We heard it here from Sarah Adams, owner of Blue Chip Headshots. Thank you guys for joining us on Forsyth Business Radio. You know that you can download these episodes wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts, and you can look out for more specialty episodes like this one. Until next time, I'm your host, Amanda Pierce Marmolejo, and this is Sarah Adams on Forsyth Business Radio.